everyone, I hope you're doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about something very important. This is probably one of the most important things I'm going to ever mention. If you are someone who is especially addicted to social media or addicted to any other type of thing, and you are an ambitious person, you have a lot of goals, you want to actually make something of your life, or you used to be this kind of person and you just kind of lost this kind of energy, and you feel like you're always stuck into going back into toxic things. So one day you have the motivation to leave whatever thing is holding you back. Could be even like a toxic relationship. You want to leave it, and then days later, weeks later, you go back to square one. If you are stuck in this cycle of doing something to better your life, and then um, you go back to point one, and then you're stuck in this cycle, this video is for you. I was you. I used to be like this. I used to be stuck, okay, until I realized this concept. I personally am the type of person where, I could watch 1,000 videos about, people telling me what I should do. You should do this, you should do that. But if something doesn't make sense, if the person doesn't explain to me the concept and the why behind the thing, I can't really stick to that thing, because when things feel hard, I don't really understand why I am doing this. Why does this work? And so it makes it hard for me to stick to this concept. Today in this video, I'm going to be explaining to you the concept as to why you are stuck. Once you understand the why, I promise you that you are going to have so much more discipline in solving your problem. And hopefully after this video, after implementing what I'm about to tell you, you're actually going to get unstuck. That's how I got unstuck. That's how I changed my life. That's how I went from someone who is very unsatisfied with their life to someone who actually achieves their goals on a regular basis. So for this, I'm going to use a diagram. So here in the middle is you. And then around you, there's a circle. I'm going to be talking about the circle later. This is the most important concept in this video. Then here we have S. This is your strengths. And this is W. This is your weaknesses. So everybody has different strengths and weaknesses. So your strengths are determined by literally your brain structure. So your DNA, the genetic part of things, and also just the way, the brain builds in utero, and also by your surroundings, your conditioning, the things that your parents have encouraged and the things that they have discouraged, and society in general, the habits of your surroundings, and so on, your society, the global biases in the world, etc. Okay, all of these build your strengths and they build your weaknesses. The way you operate in life is, and this is the default state of everyone, and this is how we've been surviving for many years, is that we do our strengths, we are good at them, that's our comfort zone. Our strengths work for certain areas, but we try to force things to work out in the way we feel like, in the way it works for us. So we try to solve certain problems only using our strengths. That works for certain areas, but it works terribly for other things. I'll give you an example. If you're, for example, a logical person, you're smart, you're logical, when you try to solve like work problems or studying things, you're really good at it. But then in social life, you need another set of strengths. You can't just use logic because you're gonna suck, right? But you try to force it. You try to analyze social situations. You try to over explain it, overuse your strengths, and that ultimately leads you to being really bad at it, because that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do the opposite, right? Which is your weaknesses. And your weaknesses, when you try to do them, they're not going to make sense. You're not going to understand why me doing this thing that is the complete opposite is going to solve this problem, until you're actually forced by external circumstances forced to do your weaknesses, and then you see how everything turns around and how things start flowing and everything gets easier, and then you're like, oh, it was this thing that I never cared about all along. This is the concept of the hero's journey, okay? So you have your strengths and you have your weaknesses. The whole point of life is that you have to work on your weaknesses. It's unavoidable. You have to do your weaknesses. You have to do the things that you suck at. You have to do the things that you're trying to set your life around avoiding. For example, you choose your job around avoiding this one thing that you hate. For example, say like you hate, I don't know, you hate writing or something, so you try to get like a career in, for example, say like you really hate math, so you get like a career in another, like a completely other thing, and then you realize like if I have to do my taxes and like think about that, I have to use math. This is just an example. So at the end of the day, you will always be dissatisfied, unhappy, stuck if you don't work on your weaknesses. This is like the very most important concept of everything. You have to do your weaknesses for things to flow for you. Otherwise, you're always going to be stuck. I think this is like something logical that most people realize. Maybe younger people don't actually realize this, but if you've ever been through anything hard and you were forced to do the thing that you've never done before, you realize what I mean, right? Now, this is the concept of the video. So what is this? This is your energy. This is your life force. This concept of like putting your strengths down and doing your weaknesses is something that takes so much energy. It's very hard. Okay, it's the most challenging thing in the world. The hardest thing in the world is to change. Think about changing yourself. It's the hardest thing ever, right? And changing others is impossible if they don't want to change themselves. So change is the hardest thing. You know why? Because your strengths have allowed you to survive until now. They've allowed you to survive in the environment that you grew up in. You're doing fine according to your body. Sure, you're very unsatisfied, but according to your body, you're surviving, you're eating, you're breathing, you're fine. You don't need to do this. So your body doesn't want to do this. So it takes a lot of energy to go against your current to do your weaknesses. And this is where everything starts. You are depleted of your energy. This is why you are stuck. This is why you try to bury yourself, and then you go back to square one. You try and then go back, and you're stuck in a circle for many years because you don't have energy. Imagine you have a phone, remember like the old phones where you had like the bars for the energy for the battery, and you have one bar left, and then your phone is running out of energy, so it shuts down. Then you leave it for a little bit, you turn it back on, you see that when you leave it a little bit and turn it back on, there's another bar that shows up, so you can use it for like 5 minutes, and then it shuts down. You leave it for a bit, turn it back on, you use it for 2 minutes, shuts down. This is you, okay? This is you. You leave social media for 2 days or 3 days, then fall back down. Then you gather the energy, leave it for a week, and then go back down. You know why? What's the problem with this phone? Do you have to keep turning it back on and off? No. The problem is you have to go home and charge the phone. If you charge the phone, you charge the battery, you plug it in, it's not gonna turn back off, right? This is you. You have to charge your energy back. This is the reason why you're stuck. You don't have energy. Your life energy is gone. More specifically, it's been stolen, okay? Stolen by what? By who? By a lot of things. In the world, for example, there is an infinite amount of, finite, I guess, but a lot of resources, right? There's a lot of water, there's a lot of natural resources, there's a lot of money. If money was distributed equally and fairly, everybody would have a respectable, standard of living. But the reality we live in is that there are people who are infinitely rich and people who can't even afford food. They can't even afford the most basic, standards of living. It's the same thing with energy. Most people, if everybody just kept their energy to themselves, everybody would achieve incredible things, more than your ambitions. Your ambitions are lower than what you actually could achieve. But most people don't. Most people are running low on energy because other people and other things are stealing their energy. The human condition is greed, okay? We are never satisfied. We always want to steal from others. So The first step, just like the phone, you can't just keep turning it back on, it's useless. The first step for you is to recharge, get your energy back. Once you get your energy back, everything is going to be easy. Your life is going to flow. You're going to be unstuck. You're going to be able to diagnose your strengths, because probably you don't actually know your strengths. So you're going to be able to diagnose your strengths. You're going to be able to diagnose your weaknesses. You're going to be able to see what things you need to do in order to solve your problems in real life. And this requires resources. For example, it could require therapy. You need to heal from your traumas. Therapy requires money. If you want to have money, you need to have a job. If you have no energy to work hard and have a nice job and work, be disciplined in order to gain money, you're not going to be able to afford therapy as much, or maybe you're going to be working in really bad work conditions that add on to your traumas and with a lot of microaggressions. I digress. If you don't have resources, you don't have time, and you don't have life energy, you're not going to be able to do this process of diagnosis, what your strengths, your weaknesses are, and then implementing things to do your weaknesses and solve, get unstuck in life. And you are also not going to be able to continue to be disciplined in order to continue working on your weaknesses. Because working on your weaknesses is not like something that you just solve, like you take like a few months, solve all my traumas, and then I'm the best. No, it's like cleaning your apartment. You have to clean regularly. You have to do it regularly. It's something that never stops. You can't just clean your apartment one day and it's just set for the rest of your life and your apartment's forever going to be clean. It's the same for your strengths and weaknesses. Your brain is always going to revert back to your strengths, and you always have to have energy in order to diagnose, work on, and implement things to work on your weaknesses, so you keep the cycle going. It's like cleaning your apartment. You need to always have energy in order to clean your apartment so that you live in a clean environment. This is the exact same thing. So, most important thing, what do I do about this? Where's my energy? How do I get it back? This you have to figure out for yourself. I think in general there are things that, steal our energy for everybody, that is common for everyone. For example, in my opinion, one of the most important things is social media. I always talk about on my channel about social media. I always talk about how I beat my social media addiction. When you get rid of social media, of scrolling, like when your phone has like too much data and you can't like even save a picture or something, and you need to like delete certain things, there's always that one file or that one, like for example, movie that you've downloaded on your phone, or like something with a lot of like big data thing on your phone. The minute you delete that solves like 70% of the problem on your phone. This is the exact same thing that's going to happen when you leave social media. The minute you leave social media, your life in the span of 2 weeks. For me, it took 2 weeks of seriously like not scrolling at all for my life to turn around, like completely, like in a way that I never thought I could be this type of person. I always thought I was lazy, undisciplined. Turns out, when my energy is not being stolen by social media, I am very productive. I'm great, So already deleting social media is going to change so much. I really, really recommend it. I think, I can't emphasize this enough. This is so important. Another thing is to get rid of toxic people. And you know who toxic people are. Sometimes you don't, but I think the thing with toxic people, and I'm going to make a specific video about this topic because there's like so much to say about this, but basically anybody where like ever since you have to notice the pattern. Our brain is very limited. Sometimes you don't see the cause and effect of something, right? But you can see the consequences. Trust the consequences. It is smart to trust the consequences. Trust, like when I put this thing, like scientists, when I put this substance, this reaction, I don't understand the molecule that does this. I don't understand. But I know that when I do this, this happens. When this person enters my life goes to shit. When I hang out with this person, I lose energy. I have nothing to do. When I tell this person something good, it ruins it. I don't know the process. I don't know what the cosmos thing that makes it go. But a smart thing would be to get rid of the thing that's bothering you, even if you don't understand why. Because you know what's the worst thing in the world? Is when you waste years trying to find excuses for things or for people, even though you've noticed the consequences, you've noticed the results, but you still give excuses because you don't fully understand it. And then the realization hits you years later and you realize why, and then you're like, you hate yourself. You feel guilty because you've wasted so much of your energy. That's the worst feeling in the world. Avoid that feeling. Okay? Get rid of the guilt that makes you not want to delete people or things that take from your energy, even if you don't understand why. Even if you think these people or these things are meant to help you, or they have their best interest in mind, or maybe they don't mean, they mean well. It doesn't matter. Okay? Intent doesn't matter. What matters is reality. What matters is results. Okay? So get rid of any toxic person. And when I say get rid of toxic people, I don't mean just ghost them, cut them from your life. That is not enough. Because when you cut somebody from your life and you still think about them, they're still stealing your energy. Because that energy you could put into something else. But no, you're thinking. And you don't realize sometimes, like most times, we don't think about our thoughts. We don't think about what we're thinking about. Like, if I tell you right now, what were you thinking about? You're like, I have no idea. You think about people, these toxic people, more than you think, and you should stop thinking about them. Again, I'm going to make a video specifically about this to show you how to do this. But you have to get rid of toxic people from your mind and from your reality. You have to get rid of social media. For me, for example, certain types of music. I've noticed that certain types of music actually help me release my feelings and emotionally regulate. And then other types of music, when I listen to them, I literally don't do anything for the rest of the day. Like, I lose all of my energy, even though I enjoy this music. So figure that out for yourself. Start watching yourself, right? Like a scientist watching an experiment. Like, when I do this, I lose energy. When I do this, I have energy. When I hang out with this person, I get demotivated. When I hang out with this person, I become like a better person, and so on, right? What else could it could be food. Sometimes when you change your diet, for example, you cut on added sugar, that literally just changes like everything for you. It changes like your energy levels, you sleep better. Sometimes when you start drinking water, you sleep better. Sometimes when you start going to the gym or like practicing a sport, it increases your energy. So all these healthy habits like food, what you drink, sport, all of these, like sleep quality, these are things that, if they're done bad, they take a big chunk of your energy. Do not neglect this. This is very important, okay? And again, this is something personal. You have to watch yourself. Nobody's gonna watch you for you, okay? You do that for yourself. What else? I mean, it could be anything. It could be a job, like your job just depletes you of your energy. It could be your social circle. Could be anything, right? Anything that you encounter, pay attention to it. Does it give me or does it take from me? Once you get rid of anything that takes up your energy, then you're not even gonna think about it. This is gonna happen naturally. You're not even gonna realize you're doing this. This is just, you're gonna have so much energy to do anything, to do the hard things. If you don't have energy, you try to do this, you're forever going to be stuck, and this is you right now. So the first step to self-development is not to learn about what you should do, and this is the trick, and this is the science, and this is... The first step is you have to charge your battery. You have to get back your energy, okay? Get rid of toxic people, eat better, sleep better. I'm telling you everything that everybody tells you. Start hitting the gym, get rid of social media. You know that. But this is why. This is the process, okay? So, yeah, this is basically the video. I really hope this helped you. Again, if you don't do this, don't even hope that you're going to do this, okay? You're never going to be able to. You're always going to be stuck. And people lose their entire lives to this, okay? Another thing I want to emphasize, I didn't talk about it, is that once you do this, for example, like, this is social media, right? This amount your social media is taken, or more actually, this amount social media is taken away from you. Once you, for example, get back this amount of energy, you're gonna, like, your life is gonna change around, you're gonna do things that you never thought you would do, etc. You're gonna get ahead of yourself, and your ego's gonna grow, and you're gonna think that you figured it out. No, this is I have to warn you about this. This is a trap that you're gonna fall into if you're not aware of it, and if you don't pay attention. It's the trap of the ego. Once you start doing better in your life, you're gonna get ahead of yourself, and you're gonna feel like you've solved it and that you're awesome. This is a very big trap. So once you solve this, always remember there are still toxic people taken away from you. There are still, because say like you've had this energy back, and there's a toxic person. Guess what? All the energy that you've gotten back, they're gonna take it, all of it. Imagine that. Okay, so you have to get rid of everything that takes up your energy. And once you do that, don't think that that's it, you figured it out. No. You still have to do this process. You still have to figure out your strengths, do your weaknesses. You're gonna have to, for a lot of people, go to therapy. You're gonna have to think about this. The problem is not solved. And even when you do this regularly, the problem is still not solved. Because what is the thing that gets people that, some people better their lives, and then they just fall back into the old traps. They fall back into, who they used to be. That's because they neglect things. Sometimes your life gets better, then you're like, you think that you figured it out, that it's because you're awesome, it's because you're so strong. So when a toxic person, someone that is toxic, or I don't know, anything starts to enter your life, you're gonna give it excuses. You're gonna think that I can handle this, and then they come and ruin your life again. So the maintaining job that you have to keep doing is to always protect your energy. Always. Even when you get it back, you have to be like, you have to be unforgiving. You have to be very, like, just nothing can move you. You have to have principles that you stick to. I do not eat unhealthy food. I do not, befriend people that gossip. I do not befriend people that are losers. I do not do this. Like, you have to stick to your principles and not think, oh, I can handle this. Always remember, at any time, you could always go back to who you used to be. This is the challenge of it. It takes maintaining. You can never, like, life moves so fast. The world moves fast. Technology moves fast. AI moves fast. Everything is moving very fast. The economy is moving very fast. If you stick to your bed and you don't do maintaining continually, you're gonna always be, life is gonna catch up to you, and it's gonna leave you behind, and you're gonna be stuck. You're gonna go back to square one. Okay? This is the video. If I were to put everything together in 2 words, in life, why you are stuck is because you're doing too much of what you like and not doing enough of what you don't like. This process, in order to switch from this to this, you have to diagnose, and you have to implement, and you have to be disciplined. This takes a lot of energy. Every step of this takes a lot of energy. It's impossible to do this if you don't have energy. Therefore, you have to get back energy. Energy from who? From people that are stealing from you, from things that are stealing this energy from you. You get it back. Once you get it back, your life is gonna change. Everything's gonna change overnight, and you're gonna go ahead of yourself and think that you got it, that's it, you figured it out, and you're gonna go back to square one. So in order to not get back to square one, you have to have principles to never, ever, ever get rid of your principles. This is bad for me. I'm never gonna do it, even when everything is going right for me. Even when I have a perfect life, I'm never going back to this thing. Okay? So right now, what you have to do is get rid of things that are toxic for you. First thing, get rid of social media. Second thing, get rid of toxic people. Third thing, get rid of toxic food. Fourth thing, go to do any sport. Like, it doesn't have to be the gym, just go run, whatever you like, do, I don't care. Just anything that is good for your health, and you're gonna see how your life's gonna turn around, especially with social media. Thank you for watching. Follow me, because I'm gonna be making more videos on my self-improvement journey. I'm gonna tell you how I went from a lazy ambitious person to someone who's ambitious and actually achieves their goals on a regular basis. I'm gonna break down everything in the way that I broke it down, and yeah, I'm hoping to build a community where we improve, where we create a new generation of people who actually want to use their energy, want to get their energy back, claim it back, and use it for anything good, for the betterment of our lives, and consequently of the lives of others. Follow me. Thank you for watching, and please implement this now. Don't wait. Okay, do not wait. Start implementing this right